What is up, crew? It's your boy Kaycem, and on today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw characters from different angles, and we're going to be using children as an example. Now today we're going to be going over how to draw characters from different poses, such that if you wanted to do a full-on rotation like this, what we're showing you on the screen, it is definitely going to be doable. Now if it's your first time here, my name is Kaycem and I'm a Filipino art streamer on Twitch, teaching everything from anatomy, gesture to all things related to character design, and I currently work full-time for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now prepping to work on shows such as Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, or you like anime or animation, make sure to leave a follow if you're watching from Twitch, and also like and subscribe if you're over there from YouTube. But with that being said, let's go ahead and I'll talk a little bit with you guys about what we're going to be doing today. Now, before we get into all of the juicy stuff out here, I do want to let you guys know that you can grab the resources out here on my Discord channel. So there's a few here that I think you'll find handy. One is going to be the worksheet that we're going to be using today, which has a few of the other kind of tips and notes that I've done from all the other videos talking about how to draw children. So we're going to see here the proportions, the different shape design and stylizations. But then also I'm giving you guys here this style guide sheet that I made for Legend of Korra, this character Mako here, and just breaking down the proportions and how all of the things check out here, as well as seeing the character from different angles. Last but not least, I'm also giving you guys this rough perspective rotation that I did a while back, just to showcase to you how you can do different styles of rotation, whether that be orthographic or a perspective rotation. I'll talk a little bit about that later on the video, but just grab these sheets. They're free to grab, but you do have to be grabbing these while I'm live. So if you're watching this and I'm not live, unfortunately those might not be there. But again, if you are here and you're watching live right now, go join the Discord channel, hop in and enjoy the free stuff that we have over there. So with that being said, let's go ahead now and talk a little bit about some of the examples that we have here. So already here, I've already drawn out all the rough poses for this animation. It took me roughly about 15 minutes to draw these poses out, just to get a quick idea here of drawing out the characters. And we've already done one of these on stream, so I drew the 3/4 view. But we're going to be going in now on this video and showing you guys how to draw a character in side view, as well as drawing this character in back view. And I'm going to be using this kind of chubby kid as an example here, because I think it's cool to be able to draw children, let alone drawing some fat people, because oftentimes you'll see in a lot of videos and stuff and tutorials, they're mostly drawing either very fit characters or drawing anime waifus or buff male characters. And so I think this will be a good one to see how it applies to even a different body type or even a different age group. Okay. Now, really quick, before we do get into the drawing, I want to ask you guys, how many of you guys in the chat, put an F in the chat if you've ever tried to draw a character before. Let's say you drew an original character, and then maybe the second, third, fourth time you tried to draw that character, they don't look like the first time you drew the character. Put an F in the chat. Maybe you tried to draw them from a different perspective, or you tried drawing them looking a certain other way, and you're scratching your head because you're like, hey, what's going on here? Is this a new character? Is this a new OC that I got here? Yeah, probably. Right? And so part of today's video is not only showing you guys how to rotate and stuff, but also how to keep your characters consistent. And one of the best ways to keep your characters looking consistent and stuff is by using some of these guidelines to actually break down the proportions of the face, proportions of the body, how is the shape and stuff going to be working, and doing stuff like character rotations, like what you're seeing here, can actually be a really great exercise in being able to understand your character just a little bit more. Got a lot of F's in the chat, by the way. Damn. Too many F's in the chat right now for this one. So for example, take a look at how I drew this ear. On the rough sketch here, the ear is actually pretty small in relation to the actual model. So now that I have these little rough guidelines, you can kind of see it here across the drawing. I can actually now know, like, okay, the ear is actually pretty big, or a lot bigger than what I drew. So let me go ahead and fix some of that here and, you know, be able to visualize this. Now, you might be saying, Kaycem, well, do I have to do all these grids and lines every time? No, not necessarily, but I think it's valuable, especially if you do plan on drawing a character multiple times, to be able to understand how the character looks like and how they work. And doing something like a character rotation sheet is going to be a good way to do that, though it's not the only way. Now, other reasons why you might want to be able, or why you might want to learn how to do something like this, is because if you want to work in animation, video games, working on films or whatever, and you want to be a character designer, this is probably one of the core fundamental skills that you should learn. And it's a great skill to learn because it showcases, one, how you understand how to draw characters. It also shows you how to draw characters in forms and different perspectives. And so it really encompasses a lot of different fundamentals, I think. And overall, this is going to be the kind of stuff, again, that you're going to be asked to do if you were to work on a project, right? Knowing how a character looks like at different views is going to be helpful. Though, having to do all the different types of rotations will vary depending on the industry you're working in. For example, if you guys are interested in games, actually, let me ask in the chat, is anyone here interested in working for like games or potentially working in animation or film? Just out of curiosity, you can let me know. It's cool if you're not. It's not like this video is not only for people who want to work in the industry. It's also just for people who want to learn and improve their art. But I'm kind of curious to see how many of you guys are interested, right? And if so, what would you be interested in? Like, are you interested in games? Are you interested in film, TV animation, right? So the reason why I asked this is because it's going to be a little bit different each time. So for example, if you did want to work in games, you may not need to know how to do a full-on eight body rotation or even a 5-point turn. You might only need to know how to draw the front view, how to draw the side view, and then how to draw the back view, which is what we're going to be covering today. But if you want to work in animation, for example, it's going to be very valuable to learn how to do the 5-point turn, which is drawing a character in front view, a character in 3/4 view, character in profile view, back view, or 3/4 back view, and then a back view here, right? So having kind of all of this knowledge and stuff, again, will be helpful no matter where you go, but it's also just, good to know that maybe you don't need to know how to do all of it as well. So if you're working in games and stuff, you might just be like, okay, cool. Let me just focus on some of the easier rotations here. So here, when it comes down to drawing a character in side view, the main things I want to focus on, actually, let me lower the opacity here. The main things I want to focus on are going to be the volume of that rib cage, right? And then also the volume there of the hips. And how do those two things work in tandem? So what's really cool is, as you kind of look here, so we're going to draw kind of a simple torso and a simple pelvis here. The pelvis itself, as well as the torso, they're actually going to be bending a little bit outwards, and this will vary depending on your character, like how much this rotation will work. But generally speaking, your torso, your rib cage, will point outwards like this, and then your pelvis will kind of point downwards like so. And so there's going to be kind of that first step there for drawing a character in side view. It's just making sure you have some of that rhythm there of drawing a character. So the character doesn't just stand straight. Like oftentimes I'll see a lot of beginners make this mistake where they'll draw the character as if it was a stick like this, right? And then you have like a very flat character, because if you draw a character like this, it means they have no spine. So you want to make sure you add that spine. So even something like this, you can have a subtle curve, right? It doesn't have to be a crazy dynamic curve. You can just have something like that, and then something like this, right? Even a subtle curvature like that can help showcase a little bit more of the spine. But if you just keep it straight, it's going to look a little funky. And then you can have some people who also have really bent hips like this. I think this is actually a medical condition where if your hips are too far forward, you can have something like this. But it can give the illusion of having bigger glutes and stuff. But anyways, the whole point here that I'm trying to make is, when you're drawing the torso, especially in side view, pay attention to some of the curvature there of the spine, the rib cage, and the pelvis, because that'll be a good indicator of how the torso is looking like in side view. Let's see here. I'm interested in becoming an illustrator, creating splash art and creature concepts. Nice, that's super cool. You're actually a 3D animator. Nice. Shout out to my fellow industry artists out here. Super cool to see. Yeah, that's super dope for those of you who are here. I'm sure if you work in the industry, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like knowing how to draw your characters from different views and knowing how to visualize the form of characters is so valuable of a skill. But oftentimes it's one that I think gets overlooked because a lot of people are so focused on the, oh, how do I learn the anatomy? Like, let me learn all the muscles and stuff, without realizing that, you know, I think a really good beginner step to focus on is really understanding how the forms work and being able to draw these said forms in different perspectives and angles. Because at the end of the day, you know, this cylinder right here, we can turn the cylinder and turn it into an arm by slapping on the muscles and forms, right? But knowing that underlying form first, I think, is really the most valuable thing to kind of get yourself started. Let's see, so many follows today. Shouldn't the rib cage, let's see, be the same no matter the body, this type of shape? Yes and no. That's actually a good question. Generally speaking, yes, the skeletal anatomy should actually be roughly the same, no matter how fat or how skinny a character is. So that should be relatively the same overall. But interestingly enough, as you do get older, you will find that the rib cage will expand. So I think a good example of this is actually Elon Musk. So if you guys ever take a look at Elon Musk and how his torso is, he actually has a pretty big torso. And a lot of that has to do with the rib cage expanding over time as you get older. So that does happen naturally, but that's such a like specific, minute detail about the human body. Generally speaking, the torso will be roughly the same. The rib cage specifically will roughly be about the same size, despite the body fat and all the stuff that covers on top of it. Let's see here. I work as a web designer, graphic designer. I wanted our characters to improve. That's why I'm here. Nice. That's super awesome. That's super dope to see all the different type of people who are here, you know, and I know some of you are here for the art. Some of you are here for the learning. Maybe some of you are here just to play my streams while you work. I always appreciate all of that. And I know some of you are here for my dog. You're just genuinely here because my dog is here. You're not even here for the content. You're just like, yeah, I just like to mute your streams, Kaycem, and just look at your dog while I'm working. I get it, guys. It's okay. All right. You can be honest with me, chat. Let me know right now, chat. Be honest with me. How many of you are here just for my dog? It's okay. Lay it on me. I'm all right. I'm not going to cry. Okay. Lay it on me. Also, thank you for the follows, Xiaoling, and also I am Hermione. Hermione, like, I only know one Hermione, and that's the what's it called? That's the Harry Potter Hermione. Is that the Hermione, or is it a different Hermione? Yeah, for those of you who are coming in here, I do work in the animation industry, and so part of the stuff I'm showing you out here is kind of stuff that I do if I was working on a production and stuff. The character rotations, all of these things are pretty common in terms of the exercises and the type of things we would need to be doing. So deep. We need a rap in your real voice. Maybe one of these days. Yeah. And yo, how's it going, Romy? Am I AI? Yeah, it is. I am AI. How'd you know? The low budget kind, of course. Not that fancy schmancy stuff. I am AI. Fun fact, I do work in the tech, or not, I don't work in the tech industry anymore, but I used to actually be a software engineer. I was working as an engineer for about 5 years. Fun fact, and in that time, I've had the opportunity to learn and study some AI and stuff. So it's very interesting to see how the current developments of AI and specifically AI art and stuff has been going, and how that's impacted a lot of. I think it's impacted a lot of artists and just in general the community as a whole. It's kind of wild. But I don't work as a software engineer anymore. I work in the animation industry now. little bit of chunk for this boy. Got a belly. Man's been eating Jollibee chicken out here. The good stuff. Arrow's just a cardboard cutout. No, he's real. He's a real dog, I swear. I swear he's a real dog. KGPT, there it is. The lower out here branding my my AI persona. See, people joke about this, but no, like I guarantee you, give it a few months and we're gonna see a huge wave of AI VTubers. Yo, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't even know how I feel about VTubers in general, but like AI VTubers, imagine just that's gonna be the trend. That's it, man. And then after that, it's gonna be a dangerous world out here. Then these AI, oh, I can see it now. AI VTubers, and then these AI VTubers are gonna make OnlyFans, and people are literally gonna be profit. We're living in dark times. The AI waifu, the AI waifu armada apocalypse is coming, guys. Be careful out here, chat. Stay strong. Stay vigilant, chat. Touch some grass later. Oh, I'm sure there are AI VTubers. I don't doubt it. But I feel like there's going to be a wave of it. People are going to manage to really maximize this and monetize it like crazy. It's scary. We're living in a wild world out here. All right, but let's go ahead and see this little rotation here. Little chunky boy, you know, giving him some volume. I think he deserves a lot more volume there on his cheeks. So let me go ahead and add that. I think we just didn't add it in, but we're going to be adding on top of the pelvis there, right? So giving him some volume. And overall, again, at this step of the process, I'm really just focusing on going in here and adding in some of the basic volumes, but we're keeping it nice and simple, nice and light overall, just to kind of make sure we're more focused on the basic forms that we've got here today. But let's go in here now and let's add some of the legs, right? Sure. And then, yeah, let's see what we got. You agree with me, actually? What do you mean? What's grass? Damn, it's too late. It's too late. They've taken over my community. Everyone's eyes are all glazed over. Oh no. It's happened. E2, you guys have been caught in the trap. Let's see here. Ras got coin. Thank you for the follows. Murasis, thanks for the follow as well. And everyone else coming in here today. Hopefully you guys are enjoying today's video and enjoying today's stream. This is, I would say, a very specific topic, how to draw characters in different views and stuff, but I think it's a very valuable one. Again, I can't talk about this enough about how this is actually one of the core skills to learn as a character designer. Being able to draw a character from different perspectives and different views and angles is going to be so valuable in this line of work. And so being able to do this one, I think, will be really helpful for you guys. But again, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it in this style that I'm showing you here. So again, this is not a video about how to draw in my style. It's more a video about how to kind of think about approaching these type of these things, like drawing a character rotated. What are the things I'm looking for overall, right? And a lot of what I'm looking for, to be honest, is I'm looking at the relationships of the volume and the proportions, simplifying the shapes into 3D forms first and foremost, and then from there applying some of those forms into these kind of more cohesive, detailed shapes. And thanks you for the follows, Josephine. So many follows today. I have no clue what's going on. Hakad, yeah, welcome in. Yeah, we got a boot camp out here. If you guys, let me ask this. How many of you guys here have not heard about my boot camp before? Because I realize that some of you might be coming in here for the first time and you don't even know who I am and what I'm doing and what this boot camp is. Let me know in the chat if you've never heard of my boot camp before, and then I can talk a little bit about that. Am I on the front page? How's it going, feeling, Whitney? And also thank you to follow Anna Nasik, and everyone else coming in here. The only grass I know is video game grass. Ooh, speaking of video game grass, I am so excited to play the Legend of Zelda game. I haven't even played the first one, but I just like the tone of the second of this new like Tears of the Kingdom or whatever. It just seems like a much darker tone, and I feel like that's my kind of game. I don't know. I like more of a darker look and feel to my games. But if I am going to play the second game, I'll probably have to play the first one. You know, it's only fair to play the first one. Like, I own it. I own the game. I just haven't played it. Did I play N64 Ocarina of Time? No. The only other Legend of Zelda game that I ever played was Majora's Mask, which I loved. Man, I love Majora's Mask. Okay, so a few of you haven't heard of the boot camp before, so let me give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what the boot camp is. All right, and also welcome in Chris 751 and everyone else who is here today. So for those of you who've never heard of my boot camp, basically I teach art out here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, perspective, gesture, to all things related to character design. And the reason why I teach this is because I grew up not having access to be able to go to art school, to pay for books and all that stuff. And I know that maybe some of you out here are also potentially struggling with trying to figure out what things to study, where to go, in what order, and all of that stuff. And so I'm out here trying to make a course from all the things I've learned from being in the industry, from taking classes that I've had in school and all of those things, and trying to give it back out here to the community. And all that I ask is you be willing to learn, and also you leave a follow, subscribe on YouTube and all of that stuff. Now, we have two boot camps that we've already done out here on my stream this year. The first boot camp that we've done is called the Character Fundamentals Boot Camp, and this is a boot camp that goes over how to draw the character all the way from, let me scroll all the way to the bottom here, all the way from how to draw the head, and we talk about anatomy, we talk about basic shapes and forms, and then we talk about drawing the facial features, how to draw them from different angles. We talk about perspective, we talk about all of these different components here, how to draw different body types. So how does body fat distribution work? How does the anatomy work? How do you draw characters from back view, from side view, from drawing the arms to even drawing legs? All of these different things you'll find in my boot camp. We also cover how to draw hands as well too. So it's really a full in-depth course that goes over all the fundamentals, how to draw stuff in perspective, how to draw hair, proportions, dynamic poses, drawing characters from imagination. I even have a video and a tutorial on how to draw from imagination, which put an F in the chat, guys, if you ever have struggled with drawing stuff from imagination. And then we also have your fighting poses, how to draw clothing, shape design, all of that stuff. And so you'll find that on my first boot camp. And then my second boot camp that we're currently doing right now live is actually called the Character Variations Boot Camp, where I show you guys how to draw different types of characters, from drawing children to elderly to teenagers to monsters, creatures, as well as focusing on different body types. So how do you draw skinny characters versus fat characters? And so you'll see some of that here on my the first 6 days that we're doing right now is covered on drawing children. So we've gone here from drawing the basic proportions to drawing the realistic proportions. We've drawn how to draw faces. So how do you take, for example, a character design like Valorant's Phoenix or Viper, and how do you draw them as a kid? We've done a few facial expression practices as well. And then yesterday's video, we covered how to draw different shapes and body proportions for children. And then today we're on rotations and how to actually draw the characters from different angles. So there you go. And yes, you guys can find those bootcamp videos on my YouTube channel. I'm uploading 3 videos a week out there on YouTube, and I would greatly appreciate if you guys watch the videos, like them, leave a comment, and all of that stuff. But there you go. That is my boot camp. For those of you who've never heard it, it is actually completely free to join. So the boot camp is completely free to join. All that I ask is you come out and watch my streams live, and you'll be able to grab the resources on my Discord channel. But if you are not able to come out and watch my streams live, you can actually subscribe to me on Twitch, and that way you'll get early access to all the previous videos and VODs of my boot camp and resources. Or you can wait for my YouTube videos to come out, and they're like 1 or 2 weeks behind, maybe like 2 weeks behind, and so you can also wait for that as well too. But again, I always try to make art education as free and as accessible out here on the internet, because I understand what it's like to want to be able to learn and want to get better, but not having the resources or the availability to be able to do so. And maybe some of you have also, you've gone to YouTube and you've seen those really cool 5 to 10 minute tutorial videos, but you want something more. You want something meaty, because while those 5 how to draw easy tips and avoid these 3 mistakes type of YouTube videos are cool and entertaining, sometimes they only get to the surface level. And so a big part of why I stream and upload these videos is because I want to give you guys those 3-hour tutorial in-depth stuff as if you were actually going to an art school or, taking a class or something. The best part though is it's free. And honestly, I've been told from people out here who've taken my boot camp and who've been following along that honestly, the stuff that I cover out here isn't that much different actually from what you'd find in an art class, because a lot of what I teach here is honestly stuff that I've learned from, again, either being in art school or stuff that I just know from the industry, things that I've learned in my experience of working as an animator, working as a character designer, and currently right now working at Powerhouse. So there you go. That's what I'll say. How long should you practice a lesson? I think it's really up to you. I think there's no particular order that you have to go in. So I put an order out there for people who maybe are struggling with figuring out a particular order, but there's no right or wrong order. And I think you can go at your own pace. It's a 30-day boot camp, but it's a self-paced boot camp. So if, for example, you're really struggling with arms, maybe spend an extra bit of time on arms. But maybe if you find drawing hair easily, maybe you'll kind of skip past it, or you'll just kind of do a quick skim through, right? So I would say, focus on the ones that you think are valuable to you. You don't have to put in the same amount of effort and work on each topic, but I do think at least giving them a look and stuff, I think is valuable. But yeah, there you go. That is a little bit about me and my boot camps and all of that stuff. I hope you guys find that interesting. And again, welcome into the Kaycem crew. We do a lot of teaching out here. Puppy Power. Sure, here's a Puppy Power redemption from the chat. There you go. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Can you get me a job at your company? The economy is rough right now. I mean, technically I do have the power to refer people to the studio, but I don't think there's any openings right now, to be honest, at Powerhouse. I think we're pretty busy. We're pretty locked in on a lot of productions. And so unfortunately there's no positions, but also I usually only refer people if I've seen their work and stuff, and I feel like they are credible as an individual. So I'm not just going to randomly refer people, if that makes any sense. And we'll do the dance party break during the ad break as well. What am I drawing so far? Yeah, so today again I'm teaching you guys how to draw characters from different perspectives, and so we're focusing primarily here on drawing the character in side view, and then we'll be drawing a character in back view, and then kind of together this will create a full character rotation, as you'll see here. So I did the rough animation, took me about 10-15 minutes, maybe like 20 minutes, because I kind of took break and stuff. But basically we're talking about how to rotate your character and kind of visualize the form and all that stuff. And we're going to be focusing primarily on right now just the profile view and the back view. Okay. And yeah, that's a little bit about what we're doing today. Yeah, I mean, I know you were kidding, but like in all seriousness, if anyone here does, for example, want me to refer them to the studio, I'd have to see that you're putting the work in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not opposed to referring anybody out here who's part of the community, but I need to know. I need to see, like, okay, is this person putting the work in? Do they have not only the skills but the work ethic, which I think is the harder thing out here, because let's be real here, guys. How many of you in the chat have ever told yourself, you're like, oh man, tomorrow I'm going to draw so much, I'm going to do this and that, and then what do? You wake up the next day and you're kind of like, I'm not really motivated today. Maybe I'll draw later. Put an F in the chat, right? You're like, maybe I'll go watch some YouTube videos first. Maybe I'll go check out somebody on Twitch real quick to give me some inspiration. and then you're out here sitting on a Twitch stream for 4 hours and you haven't drawn anything, right? And so oftentimes I think what a lot of artists are struggling with right now really is just dealing with discipline and being able to power through. I know plenty of artists who got a lot of skill, a lot of good drawing capabilities, but struggling to draw on a regular basis. What software am I using? I'm currently using what the heck? What layer did it pick? I'm currently using Procreate. So super simplistic animation here. I'm not doing multiple things with foreground, background. There's not a lot of different sequences going on either. So I'm not going to be using something that's a little bit heavier. But if I were to do this for work, what we use at work is Clip Studio Paint. And so Clip Studio Paint is a little bit more robust, though I would still not maybe say it's the best for animating. It's pretty good. And that one will give you a little bit more options and stuff when it comes to labeling your characters, having multiple characters in the scene, having a little bit more complexity and all of that stuff. And the timing is a little bit better as well because you get to see the sequence timing. So I would say if you want to do something a little bit more serious with animation, CSP is pretty good for that, though you do have other options. So it's not like it's the only option. But all right, let's go ahead now and kind of liquefy this one out. And I think we've got here a good chunky build for this character, this kid right here. So let me go ahead and kind of color them out a little bit more. And then I think here we've finished out this side view. So throughout me distracting you guys here with all this talking, we've managed to draw out here one chunky boy in side view. I guess technically they could also be pretty ambiguous in terms of like gender and stuff, because the cool thing about drawing children is there's not as much distinguishing features as there would be if you were to draw an adult character. If you were drawing an adult character, you're going to have more of the anatomical forms changing, and so thus the proportions will change more. But when you're younger, you can actually, I'm pretty sure I could use this to draw a girl, a little girl, or a little boy. I guess a big girl and a big boy, but you know, it could be whatever. That's one of the secret sauces too, by the way, of animation. If you guys want to know the secret sauce in animation, is what they'll do is they'll actually draw a bunch of base mannequin bodies, kind of like what we have here. And then from these base mannequins, you can actually just draw a bunch of the details on top. So if you study your favorite shows and stuff, you'll see that, for example, a character like Zuko and a character like Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender, they actually have the same body and the same build. The only difference is the details. So you can take a mannequin structure like this and just add in, you know, maybe darker skin tone and give them shorter hair, longer hair, change their outfit, and all of a sudden you got a completely new, different character. It's kind of interesting. And let's see here. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Lieutenant Bacon and everybody else here. El Gali Show, Forever Awesome, HC Chloridina, and everyone else tuning in. I heard the newest version of Clip Studio, you have some internet connection for it to run. You have to have internet connection for it to run? Why? Huh? I'm gonna have to look into this. I need to do a Kaycem reacts video type of thing. That's weird. I wouldn't want that. That sucks. What if I'm on the go? What if I'm drawing out in the wilderness or something? I'll have to look into that. I don't want to give a take on it if it's not true, but if it is true, I think that's silly and kind of defeats the purpose of wanting to get new features. But hey, I don't know, maybe it's a super cool feature. Having internet is very important. Oh, to stop pirating. Huh. Interesting. Stop pirating, huh? Does that mean Sokka and Zuko have the same head shape but different facial features? Oh, 100%. I would not doubt it. We all know Uncle Iroh is the main character. Yeah. Uncle Iroh was a great character. One of my favorites. Also, for those of you wondering what the colors are here and like why am I choosing these colors, so basically the colors here, the yellow is just to denote where there is flexibility in the body. And so we're looking at, for example, the joints. We're looking at the areas like the neck that you can squash and stretch. And it's just a good way that I've learned to be able to visualize where in the body things are going to be bending. And a little bit later, when we get into adding in details and stuff for our character, you'll also find that knowing these things can also be helpful as well for adding in key areas and indicators of detail to be able to showcase that in your character. So let me go ahead really quick and just add in here the eyes. Remember that the eyes now are in a little bit of a side view turn, right? So they're not going to just be they're not just going to be in round and circle. They're gonna be kind of rotating a little bit there to the side. So pay attention to some of that. Okay, and then we'll go in here. We'll fill this one out, and then I think we've finished one of the two poses that I wanted to do today for the YouTube video. I think this is really fun. I don't know about you guys, but personally, this is the kind of stuff that I really enjoy doing, like being able to see and understand how to visualize your character in multiple angles. It's a really great test for understanding your knowledge of 3D form, volume, and all of that stuff. But look at that. This is just so satisfying to watch. This is, I think, one of the more enjoyable things of animation, when you work on something like this and then you press that play button and you're like, "Oh yeah, that looks good." That's pretty nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and let me pause it and let's go do maybe the back view here. So we'll talk a little bit about the structure of the back view, and then I think we'll be good to go. And then I'll probably work on this one off stream, so that way we have a full 5-point turn, and then we can kind of just rotate that character on a 5-point turn like this. Leave it on the loop. Yeah, every time I read the chat, I'm just going to leave this loop here. It is nice to see. Okay, people were rioting. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. They're hosting a Honda's moment called the Summer of Manga, and I signed up. Oh, super cool for CSB, huh? The loop looks cool. Thank you. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do the back view here, and we'll talk about some of the things I'm looking for when I'm drawing a character in back view. Okay. Now, one of the cool things is, interestingly enough, it's actually not going to be that different from drawing a character in front view. So like, thankfully, we're not going to have too much of a hard time here. But what I am going to do is remember that when we were talking about drawing a character in side view, we're still going to be considering some of the rotation there of the human body. So let's go ahead and just kind of draw out a simplified structure here for that rib cage area. Now, obviously the rib cage is not going to be a square or a cube. It's going to be a little bit more rounded like an egg. But in this case right here, I'm going to be showing you guys less of the anatomy and more about some of the basic forms and stuff that you can utilize, because I think that's going to be way more important overall, and being able to draw your character than it is about being able to go in and like, oh, add all the bells and whistles of anatomy and muscles and whatnot. So here, when it comes to drawing the character in back view, I'm just going to show you guys here some of the basic overlapping forms, because I know that for some of you, drawing the back view can be actually really tricky, can be really hard to do. And let me actually ask this in the chat. Put an F in the chat if you've ever tried drawing a character in back view and you were just wondering what the heck was going on. You were like, huh? Question mark? Let me know out here. How did you make the figure rotate alone and the concept on the left are fixed? This is just foreground and background stuff. So I just put a background here like this, and then I added all the other frames as animation, and then I have here a foreground frame as well. So this is more specific to Procreate though. Yeah, you try to draw something and it looks weird and you're like, yo, what the heck? So I'm going to try to simplify the back view here. But I think one of the key things here for drawing a character in back view is just understanding again how the pelvis here is going to be kind of rotating forward. So you might see like a little bit more here at the bottom plane. Here you might see a little bit there of the top plane. So this is if we were to draw out all the forms and stuff. But then from there, we're really just going to be focusing on a couple things. The major landmarks, I think, of the back are going to be the scapula right here, like so. Then you're going to have the spine, obviously, so pay attention to the volume of the spine. And then you're going to have the glutes here, which are going to be wrapping around the forms of the forms of the pelvis there, and the pelvic crest, right? The sacrum is going to be here like so, and all of these juicy forms are going to be going in here. And yo, this kid's caked up. Hear me out is what they're going to say if I post this on TikTok. Hear me out, hear me out. But you can imagine this is going to be some of the basic forms that we're looking for, right? Now, let me go ahead and draw this one out nice and clean now. So just wanted to show you guys some of the basic forms there, but we're going to actually kind of not do all the shapes and stuff. We're just going to draw all of the things here. Okay. So let's go in and maybe take a look at some of the proportions here. So the angle of the character is going to be leaning towards the back there. And so I think this is going to be the highest point for the shoulder for this kid. So we're going to go ahead this way. Now, something to call out as well too is overlapping forms are going to be very important. So if you guys didn't know, the back muscles there of the neck are going to be right here, and that's going to kind of go all the way to the back of the neck here. And there's going to be kind of like the trap muscle there. So not the trap, the trap muscles over there. And so this is going to actually overlap and go towards the front side there at the back. But again, don't worry too much about the anatomy today. I'm mostly focused here on just kind of laying out some of the overlap of the forms overall. So just showing you guys what's overlapping with what. Kaycem, what do I draw on? I draw on a iPad Pro, and I'm using Procreate. But if you're asking about the particular stand here that I'm using, this stand that I'm using is called the Sketchboard Pro. And this is honestly one of the best things. I recommend this to anybody always. This is one of the best things I think to grab if you are using an iPad, because it really, it helps with your ergonomics, so that way you're avoiding injury more often, and it allows you to draw longer. So for example, I draw for about 12 hours a day for both stream and then work afterwards. But I think one of the things that's really helped me be able to draw and kind of stay consistent and stuff is having this Sketchboard Pro tilted at an angle such that I'm not hurting my neck and also hurting my wrist. But also I get to rest my arm here, as you guys can see, on the side of the board, while also being able to easily draw on things like the edge of the screen, like right here. So super awesome, super cool. I'm not sponsored by them, but if you guys do want to get a 10% off, you want to take a look at it, highly recommend it. It's one of the best things I've ever purchased for the iPad. So much so that I actually have two of them. I have a white version and I have a black version, because I have one on a separate workstation over there for when I do studio work. So take a look at it if you're interested. But again, no pressure. If you already have a setup you like, that's perfect. Is it too big to carry around? I don't think so. It's pretty reasonably sized. It's about maybe 18 by 24 inches. No, maybe not. That's too much. 13, 3. Oh, maybe, yeah, 18 by 24. Actually, that seems about all right. 18 by 24, maybe a little bit less, but it's not too big. I think it's a nice thing you can bring around and carry around and stuff. Yo, 16-bit. Hey, welcome back in. Yar. How's it going? I remember you said you have a Cintiq 24 HD Pro. Do you still use it, or do you your go-to instrument is my iPad? Yeah, so I used to have not anymore actually, but I did used to have a Cintiq Pro 24-inch, but I actually returned it. And the reason why I returned it is because I just didn't have a need for it, to be honest. I was finding a lot of my work was doable from the iPad, and I like the mobility and the flexibility of the iPad. And I also actually really like how the iPad has very low latency, and it also doesn't have that parallax issue, which you'll find in a lot of tablets. The parallax issue is that there's going to be a slight gap between what your pen touches versus what's actually being drawn on the screen. Now, some people like that. Personally, I don't. As somebody who was really avid about being a traditional artist and stuff, I actually really don't like having that kind of weird gap there between the pen and the screen. But again, it's all a matter I think it's all a matter of preference, and it's whatever you like. Let's see. Yeah, the iPad snaps right in. It's honestly super great. Hope has all been well. I've been busy working on VFX edits and whatnot. Nice. Yeah, it's been good out here. We've been drawn. We've been on the grind as always out here. I'm just trying to figure out how this thumb is going to be laying out here on this body, but I think it's going to be going this way. Maybe like that. Seems good. Why not? We're gonna leave it like that. We're not trying to make it too detailed. But it's been good. Yeah, I would say it's been great. I draw for 12 hours. Don't I get tired of drawing? Yeah, sometimes. I take breaks. You know, I'm not like a mad lad. But yeah, I mean, I love drawing, to be honest. And I think for me, after not drawing and not doing art for 6 years and giving up on drawing altogether, I feel like every day for me, I'm actually very thankful that I get to even draw as a career, and I get to do what I enjoy doing as a hobby. So I think taking a break has actually given me a lot more appreciation for art than if I hadn't taken a break. And actually, out of curiosity, how many of you guys in the chat have taken a break before from art? And if so, how long did you take a break for? Because, you know, for me, 6 years was basically the amount of time that I took taking a break. And I feel like it was, I don't know, it was kind of rough. I felt like it was too late for me to be an artist and all of this. I had a lot of negative thoughts about pursuing art because I felt like it was, you know, I felt like it was too late in the game to be joining in, but I'm glad that I decided to go back in and pursue it again. I know some people out here are probably like, I'm still on a break. Been here, it's been 10 years running. Is that Echo on the left? Oh no, this is not Echo. This is Phoenix. So we actually drew a bunch of Phoenix drawings on day 3 of the boot camp, where I showed you guys how to do different expressions. So I took Phoenix from Valorant and I was like, boom, let's draw Phoenix like this. Let's draw Phoenix like this. Let's draw him after he gets that kill streak and he aces the team. And he goes, joke's over, you're dead, you know. So we did a little bit of that. It was kind of fun, a little bit of a cute little exercise there. Thank you for the follows too, Comfyable and Waggy Stream, Urban Oxymoron, and everyone else coming in here. Glad to have you guys on here. Currently on one right now, health break, and that's fine. I think that's great. You know, taking a break is actually can be very beneficial, I think, for mental health purposes, or maybe it's just not the right time. You know, maybe you're having a bad relationship with art. I've been there. I had a very, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I had a very toxic relationship with art. I'm making it sound like I was dating art, but like, I think a lot of you who are artists know what I'm talking about. That feeling of negativity you have whenever you draw something and everything looks wrong and you start feeling frustrated. You start doubting yourself. Maybe you start asking yourself, like, what's wrong with me? I used to be so good at drawing, or I used to be able to draw so much or improve my skills, but now I'm stuck, or XYZ, right? You know what I'm talking about. It can be tough sometimes when something you genuinely enjoy starts to become something that you dislike and you get frustrated with. Can anyone recommend a good place to learn or do fundamentals? Boy, oh boy, if I've got the resource for you, check out my YouTube channel, where I have a full free 30-day course on how to draw art, going and starting from the beginners, fundamentals, to basic shapes, to anatomy, to perspective, to gesture, to all of those things. No joke. I tell you guys, like, people, I think here's the thing. Some people don't think it's going to be a good course because it's free, which I think is such an interesting thing in this world of capitalism that we live in. It's like, oh, if something is free, surely it can't be good. You know what I'm saying? But this is one of those few cases, guys, where this free course, I have put in my blood, sweat, and tears from all the books that I've read, from all the experience that I've had working professionally in the industry, to all the classes that I even took, whether that was Art Center or online courses that I took from Brainstorm, CDA, and I'm just reteaching it out here for you guys for free, not because it's a lower quality course, but because but because I really do care about helping my fellow artists out here on their art journey, and I want to see you guys succeed, because this is something I wish I had when I was younger, having not only the resources to be able to learn, but also having a community to be a part of, to also grow as well, you know, and all of that stuff. So there you go. That's what I would recommend. It's, oh, wrong button. There you go. Wrong button there. But yeah, it's a free course. Check it out. And we keep continuing to grow it as well throughout the year. Sus. Sus. Wrong button. There you go. Can someone link to the course? You got, just check on it. It'll be one of the first things you'll spot. The course will be there, and it'll be like the first thing you'll see is going to be that course. But yeah, other than that though, I do think YouTube in general has got a lot of great resources that you can check out. Let's see here. Physical health, actually, but I totally understand the mental break. Physical health, that's important too. I'm glad you all rediscover your passions, and don't blame you guys for taking a break. When you return to a hobby with a fresh mind and rejuvenated body, you'll be surprised how much of a boost of productivity you'll have. Yeah, it's honestly, I feel like the fact that I'm able to draw 12 hours every day, and I work 7 days a week, to be honest, but not like consecutively, but I draw for a while, and I work for a lot. And I think a lot of it, honestly, I'm able to do because I just enjoy what I do. It's not because it's like I don't feel like it's work or anything. It's just something that I like, and it makes me happy to know that I can help other people and do all that. So I like streaming, and I like teaching. And go ahead here, add all of this, add that foot, add a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of a curvature there, and then we'll do that back leg. But yeah, as you guys can see here, we're just kind of adding in all the forms, right? Adding in that fat and stuff. And it's kind of just a nice little distribution there. I think the most important thing really to pay attention to is going to be the scapula and overall how the back kind of curves. So that spinal curve, I think, is so important when it comes to drawing. I'm going to lower the vertical line there. There you go. Nice. What do you think about the draw box method? I mean, I've completed the course just out of curiosity, and I think it's pretty good, though my only critique about it is that I think it can get really tedious. And to be honest, I feel like I think there are much more creative and more fun alternatives that you can do that also will achieve the same results. But I don't think it's a bad course. I think it's actually a great course. I completed it as well. But I do think it can be a little dry at times, and I don't know. Some people are okay with that. Like, I'm fine with that. I do a lot of I do a lot of tutorials and stuff here, so I'm fine with educational content. But I can see how, from a beginner perspective, it might not be the first place you want to go to if you're just trying to figure out how to have fun with your art, you know, in the first place, right? Hands, just giving them a simple hand. We're not drawing. Today is not a how to draw hand stream. We got all that on my YouTube channel. You guys can check that out. So let's just give him a little cuppy hand today. Boy is eating too much candy. Now he's eating good. He's eating Jollibee chicken. He's eating that fried chicken right now. That's that good stuff. I could go for some fried chicken right now, honestly. It's been a minute since I've had fried chicken. All right, but we're almost done here with this one. I'm going to go color it out. and then I think we'll take a look at some of the form and the animation, and then I think we'll be good. We'll be super dope here to spin it around. Whee! Is it rude to ask how old you were when you returned to art after the 6-year break? It was a bit of time, so I'm not going to tell you guys my specific age because, you know, it's just, I like to keep a few things secret out here, but I am somewhere between 21 and 65. But I will say that, my 6-year break happened around the time that after I dropped out of art school, I went to go to university. I studied computer science. I got a degree in computer science. I worked as a software engineer for 5 years. And then after those 5 years was when I decided to go back in and start drawing again. So I wasn't young, but I wasn't super old, if that makes any sense, you know? Like I wasn't like a baby or whatever. It was a pretty long 6-year break for the most part. And yeah, I am Filipino. Shout out to my fellow Filipinos in the chat right now if you're watching out here. Let's go. I know that whenever us fellow Filipinos, whenever we meet another Filipino, we're like, kababayan, let's go. But yes, I am Filipino, though I'm here in LA, based in LA, though I was born in Manila. So shout out to those of you who are from the Philippines and stuff. But yes, I always try to always got to rep the Filipinos out here whenever I can. You know, I'm a millennial. How do you know? Prove it? How do you know these things? 64 years old. What an inspiration. I know, Jimbo. I'm out here. We're thriving. And also, welcome back in, Jimbo. How's it going? How have you been? How long did it take me to get a computer science degree? I finished a little early, to be honest. But yeah, let's see. Am I a Toys R Us kid? No, I was too poor. I wish I was. I wish I was. I was too poor for Toys R Us. No, my family took me to Ross, okay? My family took me to Ross to buy toys. The struggles. Let's see here. Let me give a shout out to Jimbo, by the way. Actually, hold on really quick, guys. I do run ads on my stream every hour. One's gonna be running right about now. So if you do get an ad, thank you again for sticking around for the ad break. They do help keep my streams monetarily viable and allow me to do what I'm doing out here on Twitch. But if you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub out here. But either way, thank you for the support. And I hope to see you guys after the ad break. There you go. Let's see. Do I speak some Spanish? I took a little bit of Spanish in high school, so I know a little bit, but honestly, my Spanish, my Espanol is no bueno. 100% no bueno. It's just doesn't sound good. No hablo español. Pero me gusta chicharrón. I don't know, pupusas. I like that. Let me think anything else I like. You know, I know a little Tagalog, yeah. I mean, I understand Tagalog fully. And I can speak it if I really crunch my brain cells. But I don't speak it as much because I know I got that American accent. ¿Te gustan los chicharrones? Hey, that's pretty good. Chicharrón is pretty solid. Which character design is your favorite from Valorant? Oof. I honestly don't know. I haven't played that many characters, but I like Gecko. Is that basic? I like Gecko. He's a cool character. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Yeah. But anyways, we're going to be wrapping up here the head pretty soon. And there you go. We've got here this full rotation. I'll do the spin again so you guys can kind of see, because I think it's fun to see it. It's fun to see the little spin, and then we're going to have a much more higher fidelity version here with this one. So that'll be cool as well to kind of just see how the head there is turning and how we have this chubby, chunky character right here doing a little bit of that spin. All right. But there you go. Wee-hoo! Time to play more, I guess, for research. I think so. I think I do need to play some more for research. All right, let me go ahead here and let's color this one out, guys. And then I think we'll be solid out here for this little tutorial that we've got for today. Now, again, if you guys have any questions, by the way, feel free to ask them in the chat. I do try to keep my streams as conversational as possible. You know, I'm not just here to draw. I'm here to also help out in whatever way I can. So if you want to treat my streams as like free mentorship or just questions or curiosities about me, about the art, or who knows, whatever, do leave a follow out here. And I hope you enjoy today's stream. Clean turnaround. Thank you. Yeah, I'm honestly, I think working for an animation studio, who would have thought that working for an animation studio would actually give me skills to be able to do animation. Wow, crazy. But yeah, I feel like I was able to knock out the rough animation pretty quickly for this one. It took me about 15 minutes to just work out the rough 8-point turn. And then now all we're doing is going back in here and kind of cleaning it all up, you know, giving it a little bit of that juice to make it look nicer. But that's kind of what we're knocking out here today. Do I know any Polish words? That I don't know. Unfortunately, my knowledge of different dialects is very limited. And hey, maybe this is a great opportunity, Duolingo. If you're watching me right now, Duolingo, and you're looking to sponsor somebody who's eager to learn new languages, hey, it's your boy K. What's up? Hit me up. Let's go, Duolingo. Let's do something. I know they wouldn't. Duolingo's too scared. Come on, Duolingo. I teach the language of art. You teach the language of the world. It could be a good collab. But it's all good. Whatever. Duolingo, they're not watching us today. Oh, hey, thanks for the follows, Shapia and Kanbiru, Yuzu Milk, Juke 8, and everyone out here following. So many people out here today. Kind of crazy. And yeah, the sketchboard is pretty good for the iPad, and you get a discount if you use my link. Actually, 10% off, which is pretty solid. But let's go ahead here and let me color out this one really quick. And I think we should be good to go. Let me see real quick what we got. So I think the body, I think I need to add one more thing here to the body, and then I think we'll be good to complete this one out here. And for those of you who are coming in here for the first time, welcome into the Kaycem crew. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, teaching everything from anatomy, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also currently work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, you guys like anime or animation, or you just want to hang out here with my dog who never sleeps on his bed, do leave a follow out here. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the stream and enjoy the rest of the content that we have to offer out here, both on Twitch and YouTube. I also have a super cool, awesome YouTube channel. We recently got partnered over there on YouTube, so thank you to everybody who's been supporting me over on YouTube. You guys have been super dope, and it's been awesome just to see you guys, you know, telling other people about my videos and all that, you know, all that nice stuff. I didn't think the YouTube community was going to be nice, to be honest. I was like, man, YouTubers, the YouTube community, they're probably going to be whack. But actually, you guys are all pretty nice. I was genuinely surprised. I was like, what the heck? YouTube is a cool community? Blasphemy. But let me go ahead here and wrap this one out, just kind of piecing in all the little details. And I think we're good. I think we're good to color this out here. Maybe let's add a little bit more like that, so it's not too much ankle there. He's a chubby kid after all, so he definitely does have a little bit more of a softened out ankle and softened out form, right? YouTube is awesome. The community you have to worry about the most are the ones on Twitter. Ah, is that where the dangerous people are? See, I don't have a Twitter, so I honestly don't know. I feel like people talk about Twitter so much and how just wild Twitter is, but I personally have never really used it. So never really used it and never had any interest in kind of staying there long enough to see the craziness on Twitter. But I can see that. So I'm just going in, I'm just filling out again these forms of flexibility. I think honestly with this one, I might, maybe it's going to be more like this, like a rounded form, because not everything here is going to be flexible. You'll see some bending there in between the scapula and stuff, but it's so subtle of form that I feel like it's not as important as maybe just the upper portion of the neck there. Twitter can get toxic, yeah. Damn, I've seen people like try, the whole cancel culture and stuff is pretty strong on Twitter, which I think is a very, I don't know, it seems very interesting to see all that kind of unfold. I think this has to be yellow. Ooh, I can't wait to do the rotation with this new cleaned up body. I think it'll look nice. I mean, we're going to be missing one in between rotation, but I think overall, I think this one will actually look kind of cool. Ankles, feet. Am I missing anything? Oh yeah, I'm missing the hair. Back of the head. There you go. And I think with that, guys, let's do a little spin. Woo! All right, so we knocked out a few of the poses there. Hopefully that was helpful to see. If you are watching from YouTube and you want to see me do the other examples out here, make sure to join me on Twitch, because we've got all of these other things that we're doing out here, plus more on my Twitch channel. But if you are watching from YouTube, thank you again. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on my live streams. See ya. All right, guys, everybody say bye to YouTube. Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube. See ya.